Hello my dear students, Assalamu alaikum. A very good morning to all of you. Hope you are well, even if the pandemic situation is going on. Yes, Alhamdulillah, I am also very well by the grace of Almighty. My dear students, once again I am here with you with another online class. Dear students, you know, I have already taken my first online class for you, and so those who hadn't actually attended in my previous class and have just joined in my today's class, let me introduce myself with you. I am Farooq Hussain, lecturer in English, Mahazanpur College, Mujibnagar, Meherpur. Dear students, you know, in my previous class, the name of the topic was changing sentence. And I have already tried to make you clear about the correct definition of sentence and some other necessary things associated with sentence. Now, students, today I will also discuss on the same topics, that means changing sentence. So let's get ready for today's class. Just have a look on the board. Here I have already mentioned some words or sentences on the board. So my dear students, first of all, let's see the learning objectives of today's class. At the end of the class, we will learn the classifications of sentence based on meaning. Classifications of sentence based on meaning or function. And then we will learn today a short discussion on different types of sentences. And at the same time, we will learn, suppose my dear students, if there are sentences in front of us, actually there are some students who don't know what sentences they are. But it is very important to know for you, especially when you will sense the narration. That means when you will sense the direct speech into indirect and vice versa, it will be very necessary to know what sentences they are, because there are lots of things actually depend on sentence. So my dear students, from today's class, we will also learn how we can recognize all the sentences. So dear students, let's start the class. First, classification of sentence based on meaning. Just see here, classifications of sentence. Actually, my dear students, according to function or according to meaning, there are 5 different kinds of sentences, and they are assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, the third one is imperative sentence, the fourth one is optative sentence, and the last one is exclamatory sentence. So my dear students, now we will see different types of sentences at a glance. Just look at here. The first one is assertive sentence. Dear students, what is assertive sentence? Actually, assertive sentence is a sentence that expresses a statement or an assertion that is called assertive sentence. Just look at these examples, my dear students. Here, number 1, Karim is very attentive in his study. knowledge is power, the situation is not so good, and the last one is she doesn't love me. Dear students, here there are some sentences. These are called assertive sentence, but how we can recognize that all these sentences are assertive or not? Actually, you have to remember that if a sentence with a subject and if there is a full stop at the very end of the sentence, that will be called an assertive sentence. Just look at this. It starts with Karim. Here Karim is a subject of this sentence, and there is a full stop at the end of the sentence, so it is called assertive sentence. And the second one is knowledge is power. Here knowledge is subject here, and there is a full stop at the very end of the sentence, so it is called an assertive sentence. The third one and the fourth one is the similar case. The situation is not so good. Here the situation is subject and there is a full stop at the end of the sentence. And the fourth one is she. Here is a subject of this sentence and there is a full stop at the very end of the sentence. So these sentences are called assertive sentence. So my dear students, just remember it. If there is a subject at the very beginning of the sentence and there is a full stop at the very end of the sentence, that will be called an assertive sentence. Okay. Now, my dear students, the second one is interrogative sentence. The second one is interrogative sentence. What is interrogative sentence? Actually, interrogative sentence is a sentence that asks a question, that is called interrogative sentence. Just look at these examples, my dear students. Are you happy? Don't you know how to swim? What do you want? Why don't you attend the classes? These sentences are interrogative sentence because, my dear students, how we can recognize all these sentences are, whether all these sentences are interrogative or not. Whether all these sentences are interrogative or not, how we can recognize? Actually, interrogative sentence start with an auxiliary verb or with a WH word. Just look at these sentences. Here there is an auxiliary verb in number 1, or number 2 there is another auxiliary verb, do, and the third one there is a WH word here, and the fourth one there is a WH word here. So actually an interrogative sentence start with an auxiliary verb and or a WH word, and there will be a note of interrogation, that means interrogative sign at the very end of the sentence, and that will be called an interrogative sentence. Now, my dear students, how you can recognize whether the sentences are interrogative or not? Just to remember it. Interrogative sentence actually just begin with an auxiliary verb or any WH word, and there will be a note of interrogation at the very end of the sentence. Okay, I think you have got it clearly and it is very clear to you. Now, my dear students, the third one is imperative sentence. The third one is imperative sentence. What is imperative sentence? You know, imperative sentence is a sentence that expresses a command or an entreaty, an order or an advice or a request, that is called imperative sentence. Now, look at these examples, my dear students. Go home now, don't run in the sun, please lend me a pen, kindly do me a favor, never tell a lie, let me do the work. These sentences are called imperative sentence. But my dear students, how you can recognize whether these sentences are imperative or not? Actually, remember it. If a sentence starts with verb or don't or never or late. If a sentence starts with verb or don't or never or late, then the sentence will be an imperative sentence. Go home now. Here there is a verb at the very beginning of the sentence, and there is a full stop at the end of the sentence, so it is called an imperative sentence. And the second one is don't run in the sun. Here this sentence starts with don't, and there is a full stop at the end of the sentence, so it is called an imperative sentence. And the third one is please lend me a pen. Here there is a verb lend, but there is an extra word please just before verb, but it is called an imperative sentence because there is a full stop at the very end of the sentence also, so it is called an imperative sentence. The fourth one is kindly do me a favor. Here there is a verb do, but there is another word just before verb kindly, but this is called an imperative sentence. And the fifth one is never tell a lie. Here this sentence starts with never, but there is a verb also after it, so, and there is a full stop at the end of the sentence, so it is called an imperative sentence. And the last one is let me do the work. My dear students, here there is late, so if a sentence starts with late and there is a full stop at the end of the sentence, that will also be an imperative sentence. Okay, I think you have got it clear. All these sentences are imperative sentence because these sentences express command or request or an advice. So clear? I think it is clear to you what is imperative sentence and how we can recognize whether the sentence is imperative or not. Okay. Now, my dear students, the fourth one is optative sentence. The fourth one is optative sentence. What is optative sentence? Actually, optative sentence is a sentence that expresses a wish or prayer. That is called optative sentence. Okay, let's have a look at the board. Optative sentence here. There are some sentences here. May Allah bless you. May he not be successful in his destructive plan, and may you live long. These sentences are called optative because actually how we can recognize whether the sentence is optative or not. Actually, optative sentence start with may. Optative sentence start with the word may. With the word may, and there will be a full stop at the end of the sentence. Okay, so this sentence start with may. All these sentences start with may, and there is a full stop at the end of the sentence. So it is called, these sentences are called optative sentence. Clear? I think it is clear to you. Okay, my dear students, the last one is exclamatory sentence. Last one is exclamatory sentence. What is exclamatory sentence? Actually, exclamatory sentence is a sentence that expresses some strong emotion. That expresses some strong emotions, and that is called an exclamatory sentence. And look at this sentence, my dear students. There are some sentences here, and these sentences are exclamatory sentence here. But how we can, the same question is how we can recognize whether these sentences are exclamatory or not. So dear students, just look at these. What a beautiful flower it is, how charming the sight is. Hurrah, we have won the game. Alas, he is no more. Fie, he doesn't look after his old parents. Dear students, there are 5 sentences here, and the first one and the second one start with what and how, and there is a note of exclamation at the end of the sentence. These sentences are called exclamatory sentence. Actually, if a sentence starts with what or how, and if there is a note of exclamation at the end of the sentence, that is called exclamatory sentence. Actually, all these sentences actually expresses some strong emotion, and that emotion could be sorrowful, could be joyful emotion, could be shameful emotion. So my dear students, there are some other words here. Just look at this sentence. There is a word hurrah, there is a word alas, and another one is fie. Actually, except what and how, there are some other words that expresses some strong emotion also. For example, a hurrah. This word actually expresses some joyful emotions of our mind, and so it is called exclamatory sentence. And alas, actually this word expresses sorrowful emotion, so it is called exclamatory sentence. And fie, this word expresses some shameful emotions, and so it is called exclamatory sentence. So my dear students, you have to remember exclamatory sentence generally mainly start with what or how, and there will be an exclamation, a note of exclamation at the end of the sentence. But there are some other words that expresses some strong emotion also, and those are hurrah, alas, and fie. As these words, my dear students, these words expresses some strong emotion of our mind, and so you can see here there is a note of exclamation just after it. So it is also called, these sentences are also called exclamatory sentence. If we use note of exclamation after hurrah, alas, fie, then we will use just a full stop at the end of the sentence. But this sentence are also called exclamatory sentence. Dear students, I think you have got all these things today I have already discussed. So my dear students, at the end of the class we have learned what is the classification of sentence based on meaning or according to meaning or function, and a short discussion on different types of sentences, and the most important thing, how we can recognize all these sentences if there are sentences in front of us. So my dear students, that's all for today. I think you have got many things from today's class. Finally a very important message to you once again. Dear students, you know the winter season is knocking at the door. So be very, very careful about COVID-19. So just stay at home and keep yourself safe and sound. And if you go outside for urgent necessity, then you must maintain social distance, and you have to wear a mask for your safety. for the safety of your family, and after all, for the safety of our country. So my dear students, see you the next class inshallah. Allah Hafiz.